This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 403.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash. 404 error. Page not found. Links aren't working. System is crashing. System is crashing. System is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. The
Why, hello everyone, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. There are no WordCamps, but the Git Updater event I mentioned last week, it's how to update WordPress plugins with Git Updater by Andy Fragen, a friend of mine, and Maciek Palomowski. It's coming up on the 17th of November. At 4 p.m. UTC. It's free. I'm registered, and I'm going to check that out if I can. I say if I can because it looks like I'm going on vacation this week. After all, I'm getting away for a few days, and I may not take my laptop. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, check that out. Git Updater event. Like I said, how to update your WordPress plugins with Git Updater. Pretty cool. All right, moving on. Segment 1 in the news. Two things to talk about here. First and foremost, GoDaddy acquired Pagely, which is big news. Pagely is a high-end managed WordPress host, and they got acquired. Josh Strebel and Sally, I think so, is his wife. They've been running the company for like 18 years. They were the first to market. They used to put on Pressnomics as well. Anyway, GoDaddy acquired them to deploy a new WooCommerce SaaS product as well. So that should be interesting coming out. I'm not sure exactly when, but soon I would imagine. Also in the news, the WPWeekly.com website is having the best of Reader's Choice kind of dealio. You can vote on different categories. Go over there to the WPWeekly.com/awards. Vote for your favorite podcast. Ideally, it's mine. It's me. I was nominated, so that's kind of cool. And I think the voting is up, open through the end of this month of November 2021. So that's also in the news. All right, moving on. Segment 2. I'm going to share 5 ways to improve your website load times. Because recently, like in the past 10 days, I had a past client reach out to me to ask for help as their website was loading really slow, like 12 seconds slow. And not always had that been the case. Something changed. They left our services, I guess a year and a half ago, approximately. Anyway, they opened a ticket with their hosting company. And of course, that company said it's their problem, not the hosting side, which is odd to me because they're the ones that are the host with the server. Anyway, they did a quick little site audit. They gave a slew of things to fix and look at. But again, the client isn't technical, so to speak. So I'm not going to mention the name of the host here right now. There's no reason for it. Just keep this in mind. It's a shared hosting account. And the client was going to leave them, actually, way back when, to switch over to managed hosting, which is what I recommended. But they convinced the client to stay, giving them hey, if you stay, we'll give you this great price, and sold them on that and kind of locked them into 2 more years of hosting, which leads me to today's conversation. So again, shared hosting, not ideal for a lot of situations. You kind of get what you pay for. So with that said, first and foremost, there are some tools you can use to help with your speed and see where things are at, ways to increase it. Starting with the services, there are the big 4 that come to mind: GTmetrix, Pingdom, Web Page Test, and Google Page Speed Insights. Now, in my research of all 4 of those services, with the site in question, the results were all relatively close, which was interesting because some people and some of my colleagues don't put too much faith in those services. Some say they're good, some say they're bad. Pick and choose. And some say they are fairly loose in their interpretations of the results we see in general. That the variables are wide, from location of the system in question, to the user in question, to the computer in question, the level of internet, dial-up versus fiber, etc. So there's a lot of variables there. So it's hard to kind of get a gauge to some extent. Now, with that, take any results with a grain of salt. And then with that, there are some known ways to improve your overall site scores and load times. So with no further ado, here are the top 5 things that I recommend you look at. First and foremost, starting with the obvious, is hosting. you want to invest in solid hosting. I've spoken about this topic a bunch over the years, and I recently did an episode about the differences. That was on episode 393, so there's really no reason for me to go into the different types of hosting, but managed is going to be more expensive and in theory better than shared. But if you want to listen to that whole episode, there's a link in the show notes, episode 393. Check that out. Okay, so hosting's key. It's a solid investment worth the money, in my opinion. Second thing here, and these are really in no order per se. They're all important equally, so keep that in mind. So number 2 here, WordPress themes. Now, not all themes are created equal, that is for sure. And keep in mind, there are about 3 to 4 themes that if a client comes to me with, into my agency, we won't work with them. Simple as that. Why, you ask? Well, they're slow, they're bloated, they're miserable pieces of code, in my opinion. And I'm not even a full-blown code developer or theme developer, but they just have a ton of features, too much bloat, etc. Now, the faster the code, the leaner the code, the faster the load time. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room regarding themes. Page builders, okay. At one time, yes, they were a bit bloaty, I'll say. And some still are. I mean, some of the ones that I won't take, some of the themes in general, are pseudo page builders. They have their own interface. They're just not good. So, but the popular ones have done an amazing job on rectifying the excessive code that they were using. I mean, case in point, we still use Beaver Builder as our go-to baseline theme and plugin, and the themer as well. And we have no issues there. We've actually have most of our sites are B and A are ranking up in sub 4 second load time, 2.5 to 3.8 sub 4. So we're fine with that. Okay. So WordPress themes, super important that you get one that's not bloated. Okay. Number 3 here, image optimization. Now, please optimize your images. Compress them. Use a service like TinyPNG or Short Pixel. Now, large image sizes are the first things we look at when auditing sites as a simple way to fix loading time. If the website has a lot of images, this one that we actually just looked at does. It's a very heavy image-laden site. It's a part of the business model. So you need to make sure that they are optimized. Lazy loading is another great option here, where the images load on the page as the page needs them. As you scroll down, the image loads. So it speeds up the overall page speed because it only loads it when it needs it. And recently, there's been a movement to use the WebP format. It's an optimized format. It's supported by most modern browsers. I have yet to check it out. We haven't used it really yet, but it's on my list to do moving into the next quarter. So image optimization is key. Number 4, web fonts. Now, this is a killer for many sites. Again, the site in question has nice, pretty font usage. And it's nice to have those, but they can really tax the load of loading time. So keep that in mind. Use them sparingly. If you are going to use them, be sure to use the that's WOFF2, the number 2 format. That's the format you want to use. Okay. In my opinion, that's what we do. And lastly, the database itself. Now, once a website has been around for a bit, let's say 3, 4, 5 years, there's going to be a lot of content being added to it, and the database can grow and bog things down. Things from revisions, spam comments, drafts of posts or pages, as well as tables from plugins that were left behind after disabeling them, that adds up. And again, that same site, we had over 700 revisions, tons of spam comments, and leftover tables from plugins that were turned off, after our time of managing that site for them. We're all a thing. So removing that stuff also helps the overall health of the site and speed of the load time. So there you go. Once again, hosting, WordPress themes, image optimization, web fonts, and the database needs to be cleaned up and optimized as well. So do those things. You'll get a speed increase. And full disclosure, we recently tested a plugin. I may talk about that in an upcoming episode as far as a tip and tool of the week. But testing some stuff on this site, we moved it from their hosting to my staging server. Again, no reason to mention hosts right now. It went from 12 seconds to 6 without touching a thing. So right off the bat, we got better speed results. Tweaking some things, cleaning things up, again, just testing on a staging server, we got it down to 2.9. So, it didn't take me long to do it. It's not that hard, but hosting makes a difference, and those little bitty tweaks also makes a difference. Getting rid of themes, cleaning them up, using the right ones, optimize images, etc. So I'm pretty sure we can actually get that site down another maybe just over 2.5 tops, because I know the images are not optimized just yet, or not anymore. So again, Short Pixel is it's a one we use at the moment, so check it out. All right, moving on, segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's It's a plugin called Simple Feature Request Free. It's a free version of a pro version. It allows you to accept ideas for features or list what you have coming up on your product or service and let people vote on them. Pretty cool. There's a free version. There's a pro version. The pro version was recently acquired by some new developers. It's $169 for one-time payment, lifetime support, lifetime updates. I have no connection to them. Just kind of came across my desk, looked into it. Pretty cool. I may actually end up using the free version for something in the near future. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. That's it for this week. Let me wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send them in via email, adam@kitchensinkWP.com, or use that speak pipe function of the website. If you want to support the show, become a Patreon, kitchensinkwp.com/Patreon. If you want to sponsor the show, you can do that too. There's a form on the website. Looking for business coaching or accountability, check out my offerings over at adamsilver.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.